I'm sure we have all done this. We have a stash of yarn and we head to Pinterest or Ravelry or anywhere like that in search of inspiration. We're looking for that perfect pattern, but the next thing you know, it's like midnight and you still haven't even picked up your crochet hook or knitting needles. Oftentimes we feel like we're being creative, but we're actually just stuck in a loop. The constant influx of ideas is really overstimulating, and we can be overwhelmed and get paralyzed with indecision. The most obvious thing is that we lost all of that time that could have gone into making our project. All because in our minds we are chasing the idea of a perfect project instead of working on something tangible right in front of us. So I know for me it is so easy to get caught up in a pattern of searching for new yarns. I'm not as guilty about looking for patterns as I am yarns, but I think we're probably all pretty familiar with one or both of these. And basically, it's the equivalent of doom scrolling, where you're absorbing, you're collecting information, you're reading, but you're not creating or producing anything. For me, I feel this sometimes. After work, I sometimes feel like I just don't have the energy to put into a crochet project, and I will waste so many hours looking at crochet reels on Instagram, for example, and it's like they just pass by every 30 seconds, a new idea, and at first I feel inspired, but after a while it becomes very draining and almost depressing because somehow I know, like, I feel the burden of not creating while I'm on there. I don't know if that makes sense or not, or if you can come up with a better way to say that. But I definitely know that I feel tired, overstimulated, and kind of joyless when I get done doom scrolling. And the same goes for when I'm mindlessly looking for yarn that is maybe new or something, where I'm checking all the sites and seeing what's new there, seeing what's on sale, and then going back time after time, even though I know there's nothing new, hoping that. Is that kind of like going to the refrigerator and opening the door and seeing all your regular ingredients and then shutting the door again? I don't know. But all in all, it just creates a sense of false productivity where we get that initial rush of feeling productive, but it's not real. And deep down, I think that our minds can sense this. And this all has a cost. It has a price on us. Number one is decision fatigue. And that is something I am very prone to. You know, a few things I have done to make things easier on myself is, like in my personal life, is picking out my clothes the night before so they're just laying down and I don't have to think about it in the morning. Having my coffee pot set and ready to go so I don't have to think about that. All I have to do is stumble into the kitchen and push the button. So why wouldn't I do that in my crochet life as well if I know that I'm prone to decision fatigue? I need to limit some of this because too many choices lead to absolutely no choices. I know my creativity needs some constraints, and as much as we think we're a free spirit or whatever, we need to put some limits on ourselves to be able to channel our creativity. I think a few really good and very easy ways to do this, and the bonuses, they're like free things, so it doesn't even cost any money. But if you can put some limitations on yourself, say, and again, these are just hypotheticals, but say for the next 3 months, I am going to find yarns in my stash that I love and I'm going to use them. I am going to go through my printed out patterns and find my top 5 patterns that I absolutely love, or that I have been wanting to make, or that I've had the longest and still haven't made, and use them. Find these limitations and they become a little bit of a challenge, which then I feel like sparks a little competitiveness and gets you excited about it, instead of feeling like you're blocked in and, oh my gosh, I have to use these yarns, I have to use this pattern. In my recent yarn room tour video, I had showed my shelving that I assembled with all of my most recent yarn purchases that I purchased very intentionally, and I love them and I want to use them, and I put them out here so that I'll see them and use them first. I also assembled a bag, like a big ol' IKEA bag, full of yarn that was older in my stash but met certain criteria, and I'm going to be pulling from those two areas first when I have an idea for a new project. I found a couple yarns on my shelf that are working perfectly for a shawl poncho thing, and they were clearance yarns I got several years ago before I really even knew what I liked in yarn, but the color's great, the feel is great, and to be honest, if I wouldn't have been really digging through things, I wouldn't have pulled these out because I had totally forgotten that I even had them. So by making a point to find things in my yarn stash, it really paid off because I'm very excited about these projects and they're turning out great. So here's a few steps that you can do instead of getting on your phone and doom scrolling Pinterest for ideas. If you absolutely need to do some research, because in reality, sometimes we all do, set a limit. Set a timer on your phone for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes and do it then. This could also work if you are in line, like at your school pickup or in the waiting room at a doctor's. You think, if I'm going to be here 15 minutes, this is all the research I'm going to do, and I'm going to make a decision when that time is done. And that's probably the best thing you can do, but it can be hard to stick with it. And then definitely work with what you have. In reality, I know I have plenty of great yarns. I don't need to be searching or exploring every email that every company sends me. I've got a lot of really great stuff here, and sometimes you just need to go through it and look at it again because we do kind of forget what we have and what we see often. So familiarize yourself with your yarns and really look at them, and why did you purchase this in the first place? Why do you love this? And what would this be good for? And how can it tie in to some of the patterns I want to use? The thing that I have been doing, which has helped me the most lately, is picking a theme. And I don't want to set like a certain time frame, like I'm going to do this for the month or whatever. I'm feeling like it is a season. So I am doing a season of virus stitch or German shells, whatever you want to call it. And I am seeing how many different ways that I can use this to really blend with my aesthetic and what I want to do and how I want to make things and how I can alter it a little bit for different projects. And to me, that has also proved a little bit challenging, and I'm really enjoying it. It gives me a little bit of that competitive spark again, where I know I don't have to spend hours researching a brand new shawl pattern that's going to blow my mind, because I know I love this one, but I know that by choosing different types of yarns and different weights of yarns and everything else, it's going to look totally different. So it is a great opportunity for me to really dive deep into a pattern that I absolutely love. And hopefully I'll be able to bring you some of these ideas so that you can see them too. But that would work with any type of pattern that you love. Find out how many different ways you can apply that stitch to different things that you want to make. But I'm also not being so hard on myself. I am not being judgy. If I want to put a whip down for a while, I am putting it down. And if I want to start a spontaneous project, I am absolutely doing it. I am trying to give myself some room to really feel the projects and immerse myself in them. And if that flow takes me in a slightly different direction, I am going to follow that energy and follow that flow where it takes me. And I can come back to the other one at a later time. I can frog it. I can do whatever. There's no reason, if inspiration is pulling you in a different way, there's no reason you can't follow that inspiration. One of the biggest things to keep in mind is that you don't have to have the perfect yarn or the perfect pattern to make a really beautiful project that you love. I think a lot of times we really get that in our minds, and for me, it exhibits itself in a way where I have some really nice yarns that sit around and don't get used because I'm like, I want it to be something really special. But the reality is I love that virus stitch. So if I took those and made a project out of that virus stitch, I would love it. I know I would. So it doesn't need to be something new and totally amazing. And it can still end up amazing, if that makes sense. So I am pretty sure I am not the only one who has been stuck in this scrolling cycle or the searching cycle. If you have any other tips for knocking that off, please put it down in the comments, because I think this can be very helpful for people, especially those of us who feel like we just have to research the living crap out of everything. And we're not really researching at that point. It's just wasting time. So yeah, please put it, if you have a technique, yeah, definitely let me know. Not yarn related, but I took Facebook off my phone because I found that was one of those things I was mindlessly scrolling and it was wasting my time. So now if I want to get on there, I actually have to like go to my laptop, log in. It's a whole process, but it did really help me stop the mindless scrolling. So it's just something to think about. If you have a tip like that, you know, that can help us with our yarn and crochet and knitting projects, write it down. So I did just send out August email newsletter. There is a link down below if you want to sign up for that. I usually wait about a week after I send it out initially, and anyone who signs up in that time frame, I'll resend that email just to them so that you don't miss out on that. So there is a link below if you want to be on that email. I did try something a little bit different, more of a recap. I would love to know if you like the format or not. If you have read that email or not, please let me know. Did you like the new format? So here is to reconnecting with our creativity. Thank you so much for talking yarn with me. I'm looking forward to talking yarn again with you soon. Bye.